along with the World Bank Country Director. Under the World Bank financed Karachi Neighborhood Improvement Project is a significant milestone. Mr. President, I believe you're going to visit the Karachi Neighborhood Improvement Project tomorrow, and you'll see the progress that has taken there. The single window facility not only facilitates citizens and professionals in getting building permits for category 1 low risk buildings, but it also helps with master planning by generating big data, which lays the groundwork for transforming Karachi into a smart city. I am happy to announce that we plan to extend the single window facility to all categories in the Sindh Building Control Authority in the next 6 months. Because of the simplification of the processes, in the past 6 months, the single window facility has received 4,000 building plans. We are also integrating the land owning agencies with Sindh Building Control Authority system so that NOC for permits can be shared online. The Board of Revenue has replaced microfilming technology with digital scanning unit, and consequently time spent at the sub-registrar office reduces by 96% to 6 days now. 50% archival registries of Karachi have been digitized. Title search facility is available online through a computerized land record management information system. Overall time required to register properties in Karachi has reduced from an unbelievable 208 days to just 17 days now, a 92% reduction. The Sindh Environmental Protection Agency has denotified the requirements for environmental approval for 9 projects. It has also reduced the process for environmental checklist from 30 to 15 days. The Karachi Water and Sewerage Board has reduced time frame for commercial connection from 61 to 21 days. It has also relaxed the requirement of PT1 forms for new applications. As far as the current indicators go, we can confidently claim that as far as doing business is concerned, we have turned a corner. As I said earlier, with all these reforms, we barely reached where we were in 2013. We need to work harder, and the Government of Sindh plans to take the doing business reforms further. Government plans to strengthen the business portal by further improving the connectivity among provincial and federal agencies. Simultaneously, relevant labor industrial laws are being examined to simplify regulatory mechanisms. Building on this, we intend to move towards electronic collection of employee contribution at the Sindh Employees Social Security Institution. We plan to automate employee contribution at SESI by February 2020. Government of Sindh is preparing to move towards a system of e-registration and e-stamps. The e-registration system will provide for preparation of documents online without need of printing it on a physical stamp paper. Parties who want to register a transaction will be able to book appointments online for visiting the sub-registrar's offices. We plan to introduce electronic stamp paper in Sindh. The in-house software development has already begun and is likely to be completed with testing by the end of this year. Sindh recently completed property tax survey in Sakkar, which has increased the overall number of surveyed property parcels from 39,000 to 98,000. There is expected to be an increase in revenue by 3 times. Its survey-based GIS maps, digitalization of records, provides online services to pay tax. For Karachi, the Government of Sindh had already undertaken a survey in the early 2000s, which had doubled the property tax. It is now planning to undertake extensive property survey under the World Bank assisted project for Karachi. The preparatory work is being undertaken for massive new survey through use of GIS maps, software and digitization of property records. It is expected that overall property parcels will increase many folds from 900,000 properties currently to approximately 2 million, with significant implication on property tax revenues. The government also plans to devolve this to the district municipal corporations. Karachi is the 7th largest metropolis in the world, and being a port city, it has always been central to the economy of Pakistan. Unfortunately, since the mid-80s, the law and order situation in the city started deteriorating, and in 2013, it was declared as the 6th most dangerous city in the world. Since then, we have worked very hard to improve the security situation in Pakistan, thanks to efforts of all the stakeholders and especially the police, the Pakistan Rangers, the law enforcement agencies, and the grit and determination of the residents of Karachi. Its ranking has improved by more than 60 positions according to a recently published crime index. I can safely say that Karachi now is unarguably as safe as any other place in Pakistan. We know that unless adequate investment is not made to improve the infrastructure in Karachi, we will not be able to attract investors to our city. Recently, we've embarked on some of the boldest interventions in the history of Karachi. These interventions actually started a few years ago when, along with the World Bank, we planned a Karachi transformation strategy, and work was done in collaboration with the World Bank on the issues facing Karachi. Those have culminated into a number of projects now. Firstly, we are undertaking the World Bank Finance Competitive and Livable City of Karachi project, which aims to improve the performance of local governments and agencies in the city's urban management, financing, and service delivery. Secondly, we are improving access to safe water through Karachi Water and Sewerage Services Improvement Project, also with the World Bank and the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. And the government of Sindh is co-financing this project through KWSSIP. We will also enhance Karachi Water and Sewerage Board's operational and financial performance. Thirdly, we are working on constructing a mechanism for sustainable public transport in the city with the help of the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. The government of Sindh has invited bids for Dhabeji Special Economic Zone through an international competitive bidding process. A part of CPEC projects, Dhabeji is poised to be a model Pakistani SEZ, offering incredible incentives and infrastructure to local and foreign firms. We hope that local and foreign investments in Sindh will take off as a result of this initiative. Going forward, we want to move beyond Karachi and take doing business spirit to the rest of cities in the province. My vision is to establish a network of cities across Sindh which are acknowledged as easy and competitive commercial hubs. For this success, I would like to congratulate the Prime Minister of Pakistan and teams at the federal departments, Chief Minister Punjab, the Government of Punjab, the provincial teams in Punjab, and last but not the least, my provincial team in Sindh, ably led by the Investment Department. I would also like to express my utmost gratitude to the World Bank Pakistan office for its untiring support throughout this journey. Its team's commitment is most commendable. They have held our hand every step of the way, and we look forward to their continued support. It is really heartening to have the World Bank Group President with Mr. David Malpass and his team with us on this happy occasion. I would be remiss if I don't mention the technical assistance extended by the Punjab Information Technology Board for Automation in Sindh. Their help was key in completing these interventions. I feel that Pakistan's economy is at a crossroads with two very clear potential routes. The policy decisions that we make today will make or break the future of our people, especially our youth. Majority of Pakistanis are young, as approximately 65% of the population is below the age of 30 years. This means that as policymakers, we can either harness the youth bulge into demographic divide by creating jobs, or we can wait for the status quo to cause disillusionment, which results in social unrest. My government is cognizant that if we are to seize this demographic opportunity, private sector must grow rapidly so it can create livelihoods. And in the province of Sindh, we have a very strong public-private partnership unit which has been ranked sixth in Asia, and we are the only one of two provinces which has been ranked along with sovereign states. The province of Sindh is ranked sixth amongst all the countries in Asia. The World Bank's Groups Doing Business report carries great weight for economy of any country. There is enough evidence to show that FDI inflows are higher for economies performing better on Doing Business Index. I would like to reaffirm my commitment to the Doing Business objectives. The government of Sindh will not rest until Pakistan breaks through the top 50 and the top 50 economies in ease of doing business. Thank you very much for giving me a patient hearing. Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you, sir, for reaffirming your commitment on continuing this journey on behalf of the Government of Sindh. Ladies and gentlemen, Board of Investment is working in partnership with the World Bank Group in the Foreign Office of the United Kingdom as a part of its Prosperity Fund initiative. Its main aim is to improve Pakistan's investment competitiveness for foreign and domestic investors through the business environment reforms and linking the local businesses with foreign investors. May I now take this opportunity to invite the Acting High Commissioner, His Excellency Mr. Richard Crowder, to please share his thoughts with us in the context of today's event.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister, President, Ministers, Chief Ministers, Chief Secretaries, Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Today, of course, is an opportunity for celebration and congratulation, but it's only right that I begin my remarks by offering condolences on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Government and the people of the United Kingdom, and indeed my colleagues from the diplomatic community here at the tragic events in Pakistan today. We in the United Kingdom are joined in so many ways with Pakistan, socially, historically, economically, but of course emotionally too. And we feel the pain of today's events with the Pakistani people. It is that same partnership between the UK and Pakistan that means what is good for Pakistan is good for the UK too, and an opportunity for celebration. And the links between us run in those myriad of ways, whether it's through the development partnership with the Department for International Development and the British Council, their activities here supporting the business environment, education, healthcare, and in many other ways. But also, of course, the links between people in both countries, the 1.5 million people in the UK who can trace their roots back to Pakistan, constant travel between the two countries, the political and diplomatic ties between us, between military and law enforcement agencies, and in many other ways. And 2 weeks ago, of course, we were able to celebrate that with the visit of a new generation of the British royal family to Pakistan, their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, who had a truly magical time in this country, for which many thanks to the Prime Minister and the Government of Pakistan. And likewise, I should pay tribute to our partnership with the World Bank. Just as with Pakistan as a sovereign nation, our ties go back to the 1940s. So too, of course, the United Kingdom was a founder member of the World Bank right back to the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944 and John Maynard Keynes. And we've been a major shareholder and participant in the World Bank's work. And I'm very proud of the partnership that we have here in Pakistan with Country Director Elango and his colleagues. I think a true meeting of minds between professional development experts. So it is a great pleasure to be able to celebrate that working partnership today, including earlier this year in the work that we put together on launching the Pakistan at 100 report, which I think has provided much of the intellectual basis for our ongoing activity together. I could describe at length how the UK and through UK aid has been involved in the different aspects of raising Pakistan's ease of doing business scores, whether it's been through business registration and working with the governments in Sindh and Punjab, working with the State Bank, working through Karan Das, our vehicle for startup capital for small and medium enterprises, or of course our partnership with the Board of Investment. I'd like to think, and I'm proud of what British development assistance has been able to achieve working with these different organizations. So many thank you for the working relationship that we have had together. But if I might offer one brief reflection, of course, today is an opportunity for celebration and this remarkable rise in Pakistan's rating. But it isn't the work just of 1 year. Of course, it's right to pay tribute not just to the work of this government, but also sustained effort by many public servants in Pakistan over many years to turn around the business environment. And that truly will be a generational effort. It will need to stretch into the years ahead. If you look at those countries around the world, whether it's Korea, Malaysia, Botswana, Chile, many others, who've achieved that very difficult transition into middle-income status and beyond, it's been about sustained reform and overcoming challenges over many years and working together in different kinds of partnership, including in cases across the political divide, to find ways to advance what is a very difficult task of pursuing economic reform, because there will always be vested interests and different constituencies that find ways to make things difficult. So that process of building public support, of building political support, is absolutely crucial to what we're all trying to achieve together. And I think it's not just a challenge for those holding political office in Pakistan, but for the international community and the international institutions together to support each other in building long-term sustained backing for these efforts. So let me finish by offering my congratulations again. When I stood, I think, on this very room 6 months ago at the launch of the Pakistan at 100 report, Alango used a very striking image in your remarks of the baby born this year, which I think would be 28 by the time Pakistan comes of 100 in 2047, and asking us to think what kind of country, what kind of society, what kind of economy, what kind of opportunities would that child step into. Having seen the wonderful visit of their Royal Highnesses a couple of weeks ago, and the many different children that they met and I think fell in love with, whether it was up in the Kailash Valley and Chitral, or here in Islamabad in schools, or in Lahore in hospitals and schools and playing cricket together, they too will have left this country with a deep affection for Pakistan, wanting to come back, I hope, but also thinking about the future that lies in store for those children. So let our shared commitment be from the international community, from the UK as a development partner, from our friends in Pakistan, building that future for those children in the years ahead. Many thanks, bahut mubarako, bahut shukriya.
Thank you so much, His Excellency Mr. Richard Crowder, for your kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, I now request Mr. Abdul Razak Daud, Advisor to the Prime Minister on Commerce, Industry and Production, Textiles and Investments, to please say a few words about the future strategy of Pakistan on reforms of business regulations.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Prime Minister, President of the World Bank Group, ministers, advisors, dignitaries, Assalamu alaikum. On the 24th of October at 10 o'clock in the morning, the new ranking was announced to the people of Pakistan. It was a great day for us that we saw the new number, and it meant that Pakistan is now ready for business. This achievement could not have been done without the cooperation between the federal government and the provincial government, the coordination between the World Bank and the BOI officials, and the coordination of the team within the BOI and under the guidance and supervision and encouragement of the Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. But this type of coordination, it's ultimately the people who do the coordination. And I'd like to mention a few, It's not possible to mention all, but a few have to be mentioned. At that time, the secretary of the BOI was Ahmed Sukera, so I'm mentioning him. I mentioned Farina, thank you very much. And to all of you, from the bottom of my heart, I am thanking you all. Zufran, I'm thanking you. The people in the provinces, both Sindh and Punjab, and Orlando, thank you very much. A special thanks to you, because I know the effort that you have put in to achieve this. So we have achieved it. Now what is the future? The future is a lot of more hard work. This is not nowhere near enough. We've got to take it further, and we have to hopefully go beyond the jump of 28, and inshallah we will achieve that in our next ranking from the World Bank. A reform like this, a number like this, is just beyond ease of doing business. We're talking about reforms that include women empowerment, reforms that include youth engagement, and it is an all-encompassing reforms that we're looking at. So as I say, we've taken the first step, and we have a long, long way to go, and I'm absolutely confident that we're up to the challenge, and inshallah we will meet that challenge. To the World Bank official who's supporting us or funding us, your support, your encouragement will not go in vain, and inshallah we will achieve a higher ranking. So to conclude, we're celebrating today, but tomorrow morning we have to roll up our sleeves, and tomorrow is another day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The Doing Business project provides objective measures for business regulation enforcement across 190 economies in selected cities at the subnational and regional levels. The Doing Business project, launched in 2002, looks at domestic small and medium-sized companies and measures the regulations applicable to them through their life cycle. The report serves as a resource for academics, journalists, private sector researchers, and others interested in the business climate of different economies. May I now request Mr. David Malpass, President of the World Bank, to kindly share his reflections with our guests today.
I'm gonna come down. Thank you very much. Prime Minister Khan, Chief Minister, ministers, and distinguished guests, it's a pleasure to be here in Pakistan and join those of you who have championed the ease of doing business and done so much work. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, everyone. The reforms you've undertaken will create better jobs and higher incomes, attract more investments, and generate more tax revenues. I also want to encourage more reforms to spur growth and raise living standards. There are more reforms under the ease of doing business, reforms needed to protect women's welfare and include them in the economy, reforms needed to strengthen the energy and education sectors, and reforms needed to simplify taxation. We see youth and women around the world demanding jobs and economic opportunities. Broad-based growth is necessary to address their calls for better living standards. Last week, we launched our annual Doing Business report, which provides a snapshot of the rules and regulations that affect businesses in every country. Pakistan emerged as one of the top 10 reformers this year. These will add to growth and jobs over time. According to the Doing Business report, Pakistan carried out the most reforms in the South Asia region. Your country jumped to 108th place in the rankings from 136th last year. Your reforms made it easier for entrepreneurs to start business, get electricity and construction permits, register property, pay taxes, and trade across borders. Many of these advances leverage digital technologies to make the process more transparent and streamlined. I congratulate you all, Prime Minister, Chief Minister, your teams, for this achievement. Ownership of reforms at the highest level makes a big difference. The federal government and 2 provincial governments showed great cooperation in working together to improve the ease of doing business. We've seen their comments today, and they were very interesting. Pakistan's federation is key in implementing long-lasting reforms. It will be important to harness this collaborative spirit between the federal and provincial governments as you turn to broader structural reforms, which are critically needed today. The improvements in the ease of doing business will give a boost to the overall investment climate for the private sector, especially for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. We are already seeing positive investor interest in a number of sectors, including energy and access to finance. While the gains this year are significant, Pakistan has opportunities for further improvements in the ease of doing business. For example, in the area of enforcing contracts, where it ranks low at 156th, it takes 1,025 days to resolve a commercial dispute in Lahore, and 1,096 days in Karachi. Those are averages. This is almost twice the 573-day average among high-income OECD economies. Pakistan can still work on improving the quality of judicial processes, an area where it performs below the South Asia regional average. It's important to note that doing business isn't intended to be an investment guide. Potential investors consider many other factors, such as the overall quality of an economy's business environment and its national competitiveness, its macroeconomic stability, the development of the financial system, and other factors like market size and rule of law. Certainty of the regulatory environment is very important for business confidence as well. I would like to offer a few thoughts about reforms that would help spur more growth and development. Earlier today, I had a very constructive conversation with Federal Education Minister Shafiq Mahmood, several provincial education ministers, and Federal Minister of Planning Maktoum Bakhtiar. A concerted effort is needed to decrease the number of out-of-school children and increase school completion. Education standards need to evolve to guarantee a minimum level of learning in the country and to focus on learning and acquiring skills rather than simply getting a credential. Skills training is critical to match skills to available jobs. Provincial and federal governments need to work together to reduce learning poverty. We at the World Bank stand ready to help on this. I also met today with a group of women parliamentarians working hard to drive real change and push the women's agenda. Fully including women in the economy is essential to broad-based growth. Today, only 1 in 4 Pakistani women is part of the workforce. Pakistani women face many constraints to work. These include transportation, physical safety, restrictions on working hours, and social norms. Girls are marrying too young to complete their education. When they make it to work, they face hurdles in rising through the ranks. Women occupy less than 7% of managerial positions. Addressing some of these gaps would give a major boost to the economy. Pakistan has already made progress, substantial progress. An upcoming World Bank report on women, business, and the law will report on this progress. In the energy sector, creating a stable, predictable environment is needed so that investors and project developers can harness Pakistan's natural resources and invest in low-cost energy projects which are critical to reduce the cost of electricity generation. This will not only, over time, reduce the burden on circular debt, but will also translate in the long run into lower electricity prices, which will benefit industries and households. I was pleased to go to Tarbela this morning with Minister Faisal Wadi and General Musamel, Chairman of WAPTA. We looked at that, we observed, I was able to observe firsthand the huge energy production potential, including the floating solar that's being built, and the result in terms of clean, abundant energy for Pakistan. The World Bank has been very pleased to be part of that project for decades now, and we're pushing forward with Tarbela 4 and 5. Tax reforms are also key. Today, Pakistan operates like 5 separate markets rather than one national market. Minister Ahmad Azhar described to me the unified portal that Pakistan is building that will help with this process. Businesses have been having to file around 60 tax returns, and that creates a big barrier to private investment in the country, and also creates a revenue shortfall. So we encourage the harmonization of sales taxes across the Federation. That would be a win-win, allowing lower rates and faster growth. For the private sector, it would mean lower compliance costs, and it's especially important for small businesses that simply do not have the manpower to file this many tax returns. And for the government, I think it would mean more revenue. So it's critical that federal and provincial governments map, harmonize, eliminate, and automate tax filing procedures. And I urge you to go even further and make the process fully digital. It's also important to liberalize trade and investment by creating a simple, transparent tariff structure with reduced tariffs. Government revenue objectives and incentives for exports need to be well balanced. It's also important to extend the automated border management system to all regulatory agencies. Increased transparency and accountability are fundamental to any reform effort. Transparency about the reforms, the terms of debt, the collateral, the liens of large public infrastructure contracts is also important. Another area for improved transparency is the timely disclosure of the government's budget documentation and audited state-owned enterprise accounts. Why are these important? It's important to do this to give the public and investors a true picture of the government's debt burden and the economic and financial potential. This, in turn, attracts more investments and private sector capital. Information technology should be leveraged to improve transparency. For example, through e-procurement that can enhance competition and save money. In conclusion, Mr. Prime Minister, Chief Minister, I'd like to thank you all again for your hospitality, for your very gracious hospitality. We're in this room today thanks to your efforts and the efforts of many committed reformers who want to see Pakistan succeed. At the World Bank Group, we'll work hard on this. We want to see Pakistan succeed. It will require hard decisions from you and fellow reformers in the government and the persistence to execute them. Many of these decisions will meet resistance from vested interests and from leadership will be required to stay the course. However, the doing business exercise over the last 2 years has demonstrated that Pakistan has the ability to make difficult but necessary reforms. I encourage you to build on that momentum to put in place structural reforms that will take the country to the next level. I'm confident Pakistan will rise to the challenge, and I encourage all those efforts. The World Bank stands ready to support. Thank you very much.
Mr. David Malpass, thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of the Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, I now announce the launch of the Doing Business Reform Strategy 2019-21 Reform Dashboard and BOI website. In this context, I would like to thank the World Bank Group and the Government of the United Kingdom for supporting these initiatives.
Our new 3-year Ease of Doing Business Strategy 2019-21 aims at making Pakistan one of the most attractive investment destinations in the region and globally. Doing Business Reform Dashboard is an online digital platform for the Government of Pakistan to implement, disseminate and monitor regulatory reforms aimed at facilitating private sector in the country. The Prime Minister can also access the website through a special login to monitor progress and issue guidance to relevant authorities. The revamped website of the Board of Investment is now more interactive and informative for the investors seeking business opportunities in Pakistan. We hope it will help in creating investment and employment opportunities in the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chief guest today, the Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan, for his keynote address. Welcome, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. President of World Bank, Mr. David Malpass, your delegation, Richard from the British High Commission, Chief Minister Singh, ministers, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to commiserate with the families who have families of the victims of the Rahim Yar Khan train tragedy. It's trying to imagine what they must be going through right now. We just pray for them. May the Almighty Allah give them strength to bear this loss. This is a day to celebrate. The celebration has been, for us, has been spoiled a bit by this tragedy today. But I especially want to congratulate all those who have taken part in this, making this big achievement, climbing 28 places in the ease of doing business. I want to congratulate and thank all those who were involved in the BOI, the hard work they put in. And I hear Farina has been the real star, who has really put in a lot of work. We congratulate the Sindh government for all the work they put in. Punjab, but I especially want to thank Elango for all the help you provided us. David, let me just give you a brief history of Pakistan, because Pakistan and I are almost the same age. So we started off really well. Pakistan in the 60s was considered one of the fastest growing countries in Asia. And a lot of countries came and tried to study Pakistan's model. What was the secret of our success? And the secret was that we had one of the best governance systems. Our bureaucracy was considered the best in Asia. And we had the government in the 60s, they decided that Pakistan needed to industrialize. So all incentives were given to industries. Hence, Pakistan rose very quickly. We had this one thing which we had, and when you have rapid development, is income inequality. Inequality of income. So we had some very rich people, and majority people in the beginning did not really taste the fruits of that development. Unfortunately, rather than addressing this issue of income inequality, we started a program of socialism in the 80s, in the 70s, where this nationalization took place. And unfortunately, we lost our way. The problem was that we developed this, and because I remember the political, the slogans of the time, somehow we developed this idea that making money was a sin, that people making too many profits was somehow doing something illegal. And that mindset is what really, where Pakistan suffered. And actually that mindset persisted even to this day. Amongst the bureaucracy, among some political figures, the idea that people should not be making too much money, the socialist mindset. So, what we want right now, the gains we have made, these 28 points we've gone up, it's the beginning. What we must start off with is a different mindset, that making money is not a sin, as long as you pay your taxes. Now that's the other problem, we don't pay our taxes. Maybe that's why people sort of resent people making money. But this new mindset in Pakistan is extremely important if we have to create wealth. Wealth creation is how we will get out of our current situation. We have big deficits. I congratulate our economic team that we have narrowed the current account deficit, but still we have big fiscal deficits. We still have to manage our current account deficit. But the way the future is if we create wealth. If we create wealth, which is, David, what you were talking about, once you create wealth, you create more, you collect more taxes, and then you spend that money on your human beings. That's how we saw China develop in the last 30 years. So this is the model for Pakistan. We want industrialization, we want wealth creation, and we want to lift people out of poverty. So a lot of things, David, which you said, is what we are trying to do right now. But the most ambitious program we have today is our poverty alleviation program, ESAS. Pakistan has never spent so much money in our entire history on poverty alleviation as we are doing this time, despite having a very narrow fiscal space. And so, as our Commerce Minister said, that the challenge is that we've reached the stage now, tomorrow morning, we start to make inroads, the challenges we face. There are certain short-term challenges, there are medium and long-term challenges. In my opinion, one of the biggest challenges we face is that we have a young population, and we have to give them skills. We have to revamp the education system. The education system must equip our younger generation to go into the 21st century. We have technologies developing at a mind-boggling rate. New technologies coming in information technology, artificial intelligence. This is where we have a great chance that if we can equip our younger generation with the modern tools, then they become the asset of Pakistan. If we do not equip them, we do not pay attention on our education, they become a liability. So that's the number one challenge. Second is contract enforcement. We cannot invite investment unless and until the investors have trust in our justice system. So that is another big challenge, and we hope to be working with the current Chief Justice, who is one of the best jurists. We are very fortunate to have the current Chief Justice, who we consider as one of the best minds in the justice system. So he's already working on the criminal justice system, which again, a country, unless it has rule of law, it cannot afford to, it cannot invite investment. But the other thing is, how do we get contracts enforced? We have already suffered Pakistan has been major damages have been awarded against Pakistan. Rekodik and then Karke, and it's all because our justice system just did not enforce contracts properly. But the other point, David, which we're talking about, we have to get our female population involved in nation building. So my government, and I'm proud to say that we have in the ESAS program, we are especially paying attention to getting our women into the workforce. How can we value add to our women? How can we equip them with modern education? That's the third challenge we face. But I am proud to say today that we have a team. We finally have a team which knows where we are headed. We've got a roadmap. We know where we are headed. And again, I must thank Elango, because whenever we have any problems, Elango is there to help us. Whenever we have the roadbacks, we reach him. David, finally, I want to again thank you for coming here, all your delegation, to celebrate this great achievement with us. And we hope to be in touch. We know we are already involved in a lot of other projects with the World Bank. We know that we are involving the World Bank in developing the infrastructure of Karachi, which is important because Karachi is our financial capital, and we need the sort of financing from World Bank to give Karachi water, the sewerage system, the transport system. So I want to really thank you because I know you've been very supportive to us. Thank you very much.